Hello YouTube. Okay, I'm doing a video based off a question I just read in a forum. And a gentleman on there had some 38 special cases. He had bullets, primers, and all that. He was ready to load. But he did not have any 38 special dies. All he had was 9mm. So he said his cases were already processed. And he posed the question, can I use 9mm dies? So that got me thinking. And I posted a comment on there, and I've used the expanding die from my 9mm Luger set to expand the 38 special, because when I purchased my 357 set, I was not thinking about 38 special, and I could do everything but expand that case mouth with that 357 die set. So I thought, well, let's give it a shot, because I don't see why you couldn't. The only problem would be getting a good crimp on it, because I don't think there's 2 thousandths difference in the bullet itself. In the case, it's probably going to be a whole lot different because it's a straight wall case. It's an old revolver case. So, I'm thinking, and I'm not going to do any measurements or anything like that. I'm not going to get that detailed into it, but I'm thinking the material around that case mouth is going to exceed, it's going to be more than 2 thousandths. So that makes me automatically assume that our crimp is not going to work with our 9mm die. Maybe in an older die set it may be possible, but I don't think the crimp's going to work. It might be a so-called taper crimp at best, but we're going to give it a shot. So here we go. I found one 38 special case. I've got them all loaded. So all my 38 specials are loaded. I've got 357, but he said 38 special. So let's give it a shot. So you will need a shell holder for 38 special. So I've got that installed. So we're going to see if this is going to work. This is a 9mm Luger die set. And I've already sized this case, so we know it's sized. So I'm going to bell it. So this is, not sure if you can see this or not. That way you know it is what it is. 9mm, Lee 9mm, -A4. So this is the expanding die. I know this works because I've done it. So generally, last time I did this, I just raised the ram, I turned that in until I got a good let's see if that's expanded enough. It is. Okay. So we got our expansion done. I won't leave that die in there because I don't have one case. So we'll take that die out. Now we're going to need bullet seating. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to back out the seating plug. And I'm going to raise my ram yeah, it may not work. I may have too much expansion on that for that die. Let's see here. Yeah, I think the tolerances are just going to be too close on that. We're going to give it a shot anyway. Well, I got it down to there. That's a full stroke up. Maybe my alignment was a little off. It's probably as much as I'm going to need to go. If we go up any more, I think we'll be closing that that bell or flare, and we'll be hitting the crimp portion. So like I said, crimp I believe is going to be our big problem here. We had contact. You know, it probably would have been easier. Let's do this. Let's take a pre-made shell. Let's go down. All right, that's full contact right there. We're not going to get a crimp out of that, but we're going to get it seated. So that's the same length there. So that's our seating adjustment set there. Okay. So we're seated. Now we're nowhere close of a crimp whatsoever. So we're going to back out on our singing stand like we normally would. Hold our die still. Back out on that set screw. And we're going to let's do a half a turn. Okay, I didn't feel any contact. We'll go with a quarter. A little bit. Eighth. That's contact. I think I need to clean my die. We got a little bit of crimp on there. I'm not sure I'd call that a roll crimp. We'll tighten that down so it doesn't move. We got some crimp on there, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Yeah, I need to clean that die. Let's see. It's not pretty, but there is some crimp. You know what? I mean, it's possible if you were in a pinch, like, what's that? SHTF or whatever it's called. If it was a scenario like that and you just had to load some rounds, you could do it. I think if we go any further than that, we're gonna wrinkle the case. But by George, we got a crimp on there. We actually got a roll crimp. So in a pinch, you could use a 9mm die. It's not going to be fast. You're going to have to nurse that puppy up in there. And that's my standard one. You're going to have to nurse it up in there and be gentle with it, but it is possible. It's possible that you could load a 38 special if it's been sized with 9mm dies. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's kind of cool to find stuff like that out. But recommendations, just get the die set. You know, for 20, 30 bucks, you'll be okay. Let's see how much more crimp we can put on it. Yeah, that's way over crimp now. I turned that die in way too much. So if we took that apart, it would have a ring city on it. That bullet would be showing a ring. Let's see if you can get a better view of. You can see how much it's crimped there. So it's definitely a good enough crimp. Now, these plated bullets, they recommend a taper crimp anyway, so maybe we should went with the taper crimp die for this. But I think that guy was using some cast. I think he'd purchased some Hunter's Supply or something like that, and it was cast bullets. But it's possible. I don't recommend it, but if push come to shove and you just had to load one, you could do it. And I'm not recommending it, but it's possible. You know, it's kind of like converting 38 Smith & Wesson to, or 38 Special to 38 Smith & Wesson. You know, it is possible. Is it a perfect fit? No, but so question answered. It can be done. Is it recommended? No, I probably wouldn't recommend it. But it's kind of cool that we know it's possible. So there you go. If you have a size case, you could actually load a 357 mag or 38 Special with a 9mm die set. All right. Thanks for viewing, and do not try this at home. It's not recommended.